7 miraculous signs of spiritual awakening during Venus in Libra that are prophetic and revealed. Mary stood at the window, the fading light casting shadows across the barren chapel yard. It was a beautiful autumn evening, but something more ethereal lingered in the air. She had heard the whispers, the prophecies, the tales of miracles linked to Venus entering Libra. Could it be? Could this celestial alignment bring back the faith that her village had lost? With a heart eager for transformation, Mary prayed. And in that moment of fervent yearning, the first miracle flickered into existence. She felt warmth enveloping her, not the warmth of the setting sun, but something beyond comprehension, as if the very heavens wrapped her in a divine embrace. In that sacred stillness, Mary heard a soft melody weaving through her thoughts, a celestial serenade that promised hope. The echo of the chapel's forgotten hymns returned, each note a reminder of prayers once fervently offered. She knew then that the divine presence was awakening something deep within her. As the moon revealed herself in a silvery gown that night, Mary followed the sound to the chapel, her steps quickened by an unseen urgency. Inside, the flickering candlelight illuminated not only the stone walls, but also the shadows of doubt that had taken residence in her community's heart. Yet, what was normally emptiness echoed with newfound energy. A gentle breeze danced through the chapel, carrying whispers of healing. She could see it glimmers of light bouncing off the stained glass, painting the dark corners with hues of saffron and jade. With each breath, the air became charged with love and hope. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. The very next day, Mary began sharing her experience, igniting a flicker of interest among her fellow villagers. Little by little, they gathered for prayer, finding strength in shared stories and experiences long silenced by idle doubt. With hands clasped in unity, they called upon the divine power that Mary sensed was awakening among them. Just when hope seemed to unfurl its cautious petals, clouds rolled in with furious intensity. The storm that night roared and shook the very bones of the earth. Wind howled like anguished souls, and darkness threatened to suffocate the fragile light they had just ignited. Mary looked around as her neighbors huddled together, horror etched on their faces. Distant memories of struggle flooded through them, battling against the flickering light of their faith. But even in that storm-esque chaos, a spark ignited within Mary's soul. "We have come this far together," she shouted above the tempest. And an unexpected calm washed over them. They clasped hands tighter, invoking the divine promises that had whispered to her in the night. With their voices rising in fervent prayer, the last screams of the storm seemed to yield, and miraculous signs began to unfold all around. Nature itself heeded their collective call, flowers unfurling in the aftermath, skies parting to reveal stars, and neighbors who once stood divided found themselves in deep embrace, tears flowing for their reconciled spirits. As the storm receded, painting the horizon with a glorious rainbow, Mary stood at the chapel's doors, heart alight with gratitude. What they had ignited would not remain contained. Yet, even as the joy settled in, Mary felt the gentle pulse of divine encouragement calling her onward. What revelation awaited her next? Faith had been reborn, but the journey was only just beginning. As dawn spilled across the village, painting rooftops in hues of gold and rose, a palpable energy buzzed within Mary. The night's storm had ushered awakening not merely in her heart, but in the hearts of her fellow villagers. They emerged from their homes, eyes wide with newfound wonder, discussing the miracles witnessed the previous night. It was as if the air hummed with possibility. Encouraged by their gathering spirits, Mary decided to call upon the village. "Let us meet at the chapel," she exclaimed, her voice brimming with hope. The villagers, still enraptured by the remnants of the storm's beauty, followed her lead. Treading beneath the archway of the chapel, they formed a circle, hands clasped tightly in unity. As they stood together, Mary felt the weight of joy effervescing around them. Little by little, they began sharing their own experiences, every breath, every trembling confession, a thread woven into the fabric of their collective transformation. An elderly man recounted his healing from an ailment that had plagued him for years, while a young mother wept softly as she spoke of dreams long abandoned, now rekindled. Each story swirled in the air like incense, rising higher and inviting the divine presence into their midst. Suddenly, Mary sensed a palpable shift. The melody, once exclusive to her, began to envelop the group. The warmth returned, hovering over them as brightly as ever. It filled every heart, igniting a flame of devotion. They began to hum, then sing, voices blending in exquisite harmony, revitalizing the forgotten hymns of their ancestors. Just as they lost themselves in uninhibited worship, a shimmering light poured through the stained glass window above them. Colors danced along the chapel's stone walls, illuminating every face with hues of hope and grace. It was as if heaven itself was witnessing their revival. But just as quickly, uncertainty crept in. Mary noticed frowns from a few familiar faces, clouds of doubt breaking through their brightness. What if this is just a fleeting moment, a mere trick of the light? One neighbor whispered. Murmurs of uncertainty rippled through the circle. The brightness dimmed, question marks hovered where faith had flourished. Mary felt the weight of their doubts pressing against her heart. Yet her spirit soared higher, undeterred. Sometimes, she began, her voice steady and reassuring, faith feels fragile like a candle flickering in the wind. But remember, it is that very flame that guides us through the darkest nights. Let's not abandon this light. Taking a deep breath, she gathered her courage. If you feel this warmth, this presence, hold on to it. Let's share one more prayer. Offer up your fears, your cares. We have seen the miracles, and together, let us call upon them again. The circle tightened, and she led them in a chorus of gratitude, voices rising fervently. Mary could feel hearts melting, their collective burdens being laid at the feet of the divine. The room grew heavy with divine glory, and she felt something shifting within her. What was that stirring? Just at that moment, as they finished praying, a voice within whispered deliberately, pushing through the clamor of uncertainty. Mary, this is just the beginning. Could be? Was there another layer of revelation waiting to unfurl? With hearts pounding, the villagers shared a glance, a spark of tremulous curiosity igniting between them. What awaited them on this divine path, shining just beyond the horizon? Mary felt the warmth stir again, urging her towards deeper mystery. As the last echo of their prayer faded into the quiet of the chapel, a gentle rustling swept through the air, soft like a whisper of wind. Mary opened her eyes, still bathed in the glow of faith. The villagers, too, blinked against the radiance, unsure of the next step, but undeniably pulled together by a collective heartbeat of anticipation. What do we do next? A voice quivered from the back of the circle. It belonged to a young boy, his eyes shining like the morning sun, innocent yet full of wisdom. Mary turned to him, touched by the simplicity of the question. It was often the pure-hearted who bore the deepest insights. Each of us must listen, she replied, her voice wrapping around them like a warm blanket. The divine speaks to us all in different ways. Let us take a moment of stillness to see what is placed upon our hearts. Silence shall guide us. As they settled into the calm, a sacred stillness enveloped them. The faint sounds of nature outside, the rustling leaves, distant birds, and the soft buzz of life merged with an inner silence. In that hallowed moment, each heart began to beat in rhythm with the presence they felt. Mary closed her eyes and exhaled deeply. She could feel the warmth wrapping tighter around her spirit, consuming her fears shared yet unspoken. In the depths of her soul, she sensed a call, a beckoning that felt almost tangible. Images began to dance behind her closed eyelids. A vibrant garden blooming after rain, a river flowing freely despite the stones in its way, and a flame that flickered steadily even against a storm. Each image coursed through her, urging her to trust in the journey ahead. "Look," she said softly, opening her eyes to the village once again, "we are like that garden, revitalized and ready to thrive again. We have faced storms, yet here we are, together in a space of grace." "What does your heart say?" The circle held its breath. One by one, the villagers began to share their reflections. "I feel called to strengthen our community." One woman spoke, her voice trembling yet firm. "I want to reconnect with those I have lost," another cried. "Life has pressed us apart, but there is hope." As voices filled the chapel, Mary recognized the same thread running through each, a yearning for something greater, a desire to forge connections not only with one another, but the divine. The atmosphere shifted, electric with the energy of shared dreams, the prologue to their awakening. Just then, a unique and unexpected sound broke through the air, a faint bell chiming from the small steeple high above, resonating deep into their souls. It was as though the universe was affirming their words. Mary looked up, her heart swelling. "Do you hear that? It is a reminder, a call to action. Let us not merely gather, but move in faith. There is power in our unity, strength in our collective hope." The villagers nodded, fire igniting in their eyes. Excitement bubbled around them like a wellspring. Yet beneath the glitter of anticipation, Mary sensed an undercurrent of fear still lingering. The whispers of doubt were not gone, merely quieted for now. In that moment, Mary felt the divine urging once more. What if she paused, her heart racing? What if we were to take this spirit of awakening into the world outside these walls? Could we dare to extend our hands beyond our village? And how shall we face the challenges that lie ahead? As she posed the questions, an unshakable knowing settled upon her. It was time for a brave new step into the unknown, and deep within her heart, she felt an echo of truth. Change was not to be feared, but embraced. The villagers glanced at one another, the weight of the decision settling among them, thick and potent. What next steps would they take? What miracles waited beyond the horizon of their hopes? With a murmur of anticipation, they awaited the revelation that was yet to unfold. While a divine mystery hovered just out of reach, could they venture into the world and bring forth the light so desperately needed? As Mary looked into the faces around her, she felt a surge of love and determination. Each villager reflected a spark of what they could become, a tapestry woven from the threads of their hopes and dreams. The air thrummed with potential, as if the very fabric of the universe was stretching to accommodate their aspirations. "What shall we do first?" A sturdy farmer spoke up, his hands rough from toil, yet gentle in spirit. "There are many who need help. Our neighbors struggle. Shall we not begin there?" Mary's heart swelled at the vision blooming before her. She could see the villagers stepping into action, hearts in sync, voices mingling in purpose. "Yes, our first step must be toward the very ones who have felt our absence. Let us extend our love to those languishing in shadows." The murmurs of agreement rippled around the circle. "We can organize gatherings," one voice called out, a glowing spark igniting among them. "Invite everyone, not just those we know, but all who seek community. Let them join us in this light." A chorus of enthusiastic voices joined in, excitement lifting the atmosphere. The air was charged, alive with the expectation of healing and reconnection. They spoke of shared meals, laughter, and shared stories that were waiting to be told. Mary smiled, her heart dancing with joy at the thought of bonds being mended. But still, a flicker of doubt stirred in her mind. "We must prepare ourselves," she thought quietly. "What if they do not wish to return? What if our welcome feels insincere?" Yet she knew, deep down, that their sincerity would shine through their actions. Their hearts, pure and open, would invite others back into the fold. As the villagers planned their approach, the bell from the steeple chimed again, a harmonious blessing vibrating through the air. It felt as if the divine was affirming their purpose, nudging them onward. "Let us gather supplies," a young mother exclaimed. "Food, warmth, kindness, these are the ingredients of true connection." The path ahead flickered with light as they envisioned baskets filled, hearts wide open, ready to embrace every soul in their village. With a gentle hand on her heart, Mary spoke. "As we gather, let us also prepare our hearts for the stories that will emerge. Each tale is a seed planted in our community, nurturing us toward understanding and compassion." Applause sounded in the chapel, echoing off the stone walls as hope draped itself over the villagers like a soft, protective cloak. Despite the uncertainties, they felt the tangible presence of grace. The diffusion of fear seemed to lift, replaced by a unified resolve. They were a garden ready to blossom. As they organized their first steps, Mary felt compelled to reflect. What would they face when they ventured out? Would they encounter resistance, or perhaps joy beyond measure? She closed her eyes for a moment, centering herself again in that stillness they had shared earlier. "Remember," she encouraged them, "hiccups are part of the journey. Let them not discourage us, but teach us. Each moment can reveal a divine lesson or a miraculous sign." With renewed vigor, they began to disperse, laughter bubbling like a brook in spring. Yet within Mary, questions still swirled. What awaited them on the path they had chosen? Each footstep felt heavy with potential, and the call to action lingered on the fraying edges of their shared vision. As the first day of their endeavor met sunset, casting a blanket of gold above their village, a sense of quiet anticipation engulfed Mary again. What blessings lay ahead? She pondered, feeling the thread of divine mystery wrap once more around them. The villagers stepped into the vibrant tapestry of their shared purpose, eager to discover what was yet to be revealed and whether they could truly harness the light to draw forth the miracles that awaited just beyond their horizon. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the villagers gathered supplies in a flurry of activity. Laughter filled the air, mingling with the outgoing scent of freshly baked bread and herbs gathered from nearby fields. Mary moved among them, her heart beating with the pulse of community. Each basket, each gathering of kindling for the fires of welcome, was woven with intention and love. She could sense the unity. As they packed boxes, she shared snippets of hope with those around her. "A smile can lift the heaviest heart," she said to a young girl who hesitated at the doorway. The girl brightened, her courage returning like a timid flower reawakening under the morning sun. Hans, the sturdy farmer, stopped momentarily to wipe sweat from his brow. "What if we bring a story to each gathering? Share tales that remind us of who we are, of the threads that connect us," he went on, his thoughtful gaze holding onto Mary's inspiration. "Yes," Mary exclaimed, feeling the joy ripple through the air. "Every soul has a story that matters. Let's open our hearts and homes to every voice. We are a symphony waiting to be played." The evening approached, its coolness inviting all to draw closer together. As darkness pressed around them, the flickering candles illuminated their resolve, each flame sharing a loving dance. Mary looked around, seeing the smiles glimmering like stars reflected in the great blue night. "Let us remember," she spoke softly, her voice resonating against the backdrop of twinkling stars. "We are not just reaching out. We are also being reached. Let this be not just an evening of giving, but of receiving too." The villagers nodded, eyes aflame with understanding. The air hummed with anticipation, and together they whispered prayers of gratitude, casting their desires into the universe. The vulnerability of their hearts blossomed, allowing new connections to take root. As the first stars emerged, a hush fell over the group. Mary felt a stirring, an energy weaving around them that was palpable. Suddenly, a commotion at the edge of the village tugged their collective gaze. A few shadows approached, hesitant figures appearing as if from the depths of the night. "Who is there?" Hans called gently, instinctively shifting closer to Mary as if forming a protective circle. Mary held her breath, her heart thrumming steadily in time with the beckoning fear and curiosity swelling within her. In the dim glow, she could just make out 3 figures, weary yet hopeful. "What if they refuse our welcome?" whispered a gentle soul beside her. Mary raised her chin, the spark of determination igniting once more. "What if they don't?" she replied, her voice steady and tender. "Let us extend our hospitality, no matter what they carry with them." As the figures drew near, their faces became clearer. A woman with a child in her arms stepped forward, tears tracing paths down her cheeks. Without hesitation, Mary moved toward them, warmth radiating from her spirit. "Welcome," she said, arms wide open. "You are home." A few moments passed, each heartbeat stretching time, until the woman broke into a relieved smile, rushing into Mary's embrace. The child nestled against the warmth of a loving community for the first time, feeling the quiet promise of safety. The villagers followed suit, welcoming the newcomers with open arms and hearts glowing with acceptance. Hope surged like an unexpected wave, filling the margins of that sacred moment. "Together, we are seeds of change," Mary murmured to herself, delight lighting her path. The night began to hum with laughter, stories rising like incense wafting toward heaven. In that sacred space of reunion and embrace, however, a question lingered in the air. Would they find the strength to let go of their past and embrace the transformative journey that lay just beyond their grasp? As the stars twinkled above, signaling an unseen promise, Mary couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning and something profound awaited to unfold. The next morning broke with a gentle light, casting a soft glow over the village. Birds sang joyfully, their melodies weaving through the air like blessing notes. Mary awoke, her heart light with the echoes of last night's warmth. She rose and moved toward the door, feeling the vibrant energy of new beginnings ripple all around her. As she stepped outside, the village buzzed with life. The newcomers were gathering alongside the villagers, exchanging stories beneath the golden sun. Mary saw the woman, now named Ruth, animatedly gesturing, her voice echoing with laughter and the child still clinging to her side, a smile lighting up their little face. "Good morning," Mary called out, waving. The joy in her voice caused heads to turn, a ripple of excitement passing through the gathering. "Today is a gift. Let us make the most of this new chapter together." Ruth's eyes glistened. "We thought we had lost everything. But here, we feel hope." Mary's heart soared at those words. A melody of faith performed within her. Around her, villagers responded, their expressions shining bright with a renewed purpose. They began to gather around, exchanging experiences and insights, allowing the stories to come alive like seeds in fertile soil. As the sun climbed higher, Mary felt a wave of inspiration wash over her. It was time for them all to work together. "Let's create something beautiful as one," she declared, feeling the spirit ignite her passion. They formed small groups. Some prepared food, while others shared stories of their past. Young and old worked side by side, laughter floating through the air, blending with the sweet smell of flowers being picked from the garden patches. Unity thrived within them like a blooming orchard, every soul playing its part in the grand tapestry. Mary watched as Hans gathered the children to share tales of bravery. She smiled at the sight. The way parents and children laughed and cried together brought a sacred feeling to her heart, a quiet undercurrent of love binding everyone together. Then, a curious thing happened. As stories flowed and hands worked, a whisper of wind swept through the village like a gentle breath of God. It stirred the minds and hearts of those present, a call to connect beyond their shared experiences. Mary sensed it, the dawning of a deeper understanding. She looked to the sky. The clouds danced, painting visions of hope. "Look," one of the children shouted, as a bright ray of light broke through the clouds overhead. A hush fell over the crowd as they turned their gaze skyward, taking in the wondrous sight together. Mary felt something shift within her. It was a realization the villagers were not just sharing their gifts, but also sharing in one another's burdens. They were becoming vessels of healing, letting love sweep over every fear and sorrow. Soon, Ruth's laughter rang out once more, and the child echoed her joy, clapping their tiny hands. It felt magical. In this sacred union, they were forging a bond not bound by blood or history, but by the deep, shared fabric of humanity. May we carry this light with us, Mary declared. May it illuminate our path forward. The villagers cheered, but a stillness settled over the crowd, a moment of reflection lingering in the air. But even as the joy flourished, a question danced upon the edges of their minds. Would they be able to sustain this light in the days that followed? The sun began its descent, leaving a trail of fiery colors painted across the sky. The village pulsed with anticipation. New stories waited to be born, and divine revelations shimmered just out of reach. What awaited them on the horizon? As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky with vibrant hues, a sense of expectation settled over the village. Mary stood amidst her newfound family, her heart swelling with both joy and concern. The laughter of children mingled with the rustling leaves, creating a symphony of life that resonated deep within her soul. But still, a whisper of uncertainty lingered. Would their connection endure through the trials ahead? The crowd began to disperse, some returning to their homes while others remained, captivated by the beauty of the moment. Mary felt a pull in her spirit, a gentle nudge urging her to gather them again. "Let us come together tonight," she announced. "We'll share our dreams, our hopes, and perhaps the Spirit will guide us in what is to come." Around her, heads nodded. Ruth stepped forward, still radiant with the joy of the day. "I'll bring the stories of my homeland," she declared fiercely. "They have shaped who I am, and perhaps they will shape us too." Encouraged by Ruth's enthusiasm, others began to share their intentions. An elder named Samuel spoke of the legends he had cherished, tales that dripped with wisdom. Young Sarah, with her lively spirit, promised songs that would uplift their souls even higher. As the light faded, anticipation hung thick in the air. The village transformed before Mary's eyes, the fading daylight casting a mystical glow over the gathering space where they would meet. Shadows became friends, and the stars began to wink into existence, kindling a sense of unity among them. When night fell, the villagers gathered around a modest fire that danced and crackled, illuminating their faces with a warm glow. The flickering flames mirrored their hopes, reflecting the vibrant essence of community. Mary took a deep breath, sensing the sacredness of the moment. "Let us create a circle," she invited, wishing to enfold each person's spirit in the warmth of love and connection. As they formed a circle, Mary could feel an electric energy rise among them, sparking a deeper unity. Ruth began to share her tales, her words weaving an intricate tapestry of struggles and triumphs. Each narrative seemed to stitch together their lives, a reminder that, despite their diverse backgrounds, they all walked a similar path. As she spoke, Mary's heart danced with the rhythm of their connection, a harmony blending laughter and tears. Then, it was Samuel's turn. His voice was steady and rich with conviction as he recounted stories of faith. In times of hardship, God's light breaks through stubborn darkness. We must remember he glanced around at their eager faces. It takes but a flicker to ignite a flame. Inspired, young Sarah broke into song. Her melody floated through the cool night air, a soothing balm that embraced every heart present. The villagers joined in harmony, their voices rising together, forming an offering to the heavens. As they sang, something remarkable happened. A gentle breeze circled around them again, an unseen presence enveloping the gathering. Mary felt it, a wave of peace washing over her. Whispers of God's reassurance rustled through the leaves above, affirming that they were not alone. "Isn't it beautiful?" Mary spoke softly, her voice barely rising above the rustling branches. "We create a sanctuary together." But as the night deepened, an unspoken question loomed larger in Mary's mind. Could this newfound unity withstand and conquer the inevitable storms ahead? Would their light shine bright enough to pierce through the darkness life may bring? A familiar shiver ran through her, both an echo of hope and a call to prepare. As she glanced toward the sky, the stars shimmered like promises yet to be fulfilled. What challenges awaited them? What tests would forge their bond even stronger? With her heart full of both faith and inquiry, Mary felt a shift in the air, a stirring that signaled the beginning of something profound. In unity, they would discover the answers hidden in the shadows. As the warmth of the fire illuminated their faces, an air of mystery surrounded the gathering. The flames swayed and danced, twisting playfully into the night sky. Each flicker reminded them of their dreams and the light they sought. Mary took another breath, grounding herself in the moment, her heart filled with the gentle beating of faith. Ruth, still aglow from sharing her stories, turned to Mary. "Do you feel it?" she whispered, leaning closer. "The way our spirits intertwine? It's as though something greater is at work here." Mary nodded, her heart racing. She could feel the energy pulsing through their circle, a divine current that sparked connections too profound to speak of. The tales, the songs, and the laughter wove a tapestry that wrapped around each soul present. Suddenly, Samuel raised his hands toward the heavens. "Friends, tonight is not just for storytelling. It is a night to ask the Spirit for guidance. Let us shine light upon what troubles us, what we seek to understand." An air of devotion thickened among them, as one by one, each participant began to share their deepest concerns. Young Thomas spoke up, his voice trembling with sincerity. "I worry for my family's future. I feel lost." The group listened intently, their hearts open. Sarah reached for Thomas's hand, her smile luminous. "You have us, Thomas. Together, we'll find answers." There was warmth in the way she responded, an unwavering support born from genuine connection. Mary felt the Spirit moving among them, wrapping their worries in a cloak of peace. It was in these moments of vulnerability that they discovered strength. "I have a story," Mary offered, "want to share a personal glimpse into her own life. In times when I thought all hope was lost, I found comfort in a fluttering leaf. It whispered that nothing is ever truly lost." "We must look closer." Her eyes shone, reflecting the fire's glow as she continued. "We must lean into the winds of change. Only then can we see God's plan unfold." The group absorbed her words, letting them stir within like cool water on parched ground. Then Samuel closed his eyes, a faint smile crossing his lips. "Let us pray," he suggested. "Let us invite the Spirit to guide us where courage is needed most." Hands joined. The warmth spread as each soul offered a prayer for their fears and hopes alike. Mary felt the circle tighten, love enveloping them like a protective blanket. As Samuel led the prayer, an overwhelming sensation surged through Mary's spirit, washing over her like a tidal wave. It was as if the universe itself was listening, receptive to their calls. An inexplicable peace filled the air, heavy yet light, and Mary knew they were being guided. When the prayers subsided, an astonished silence fell over the group. Not a single sound came from the world around them. The only testimony of their gathering was their collective heartbeat, the rhythm of hope and faith. But as they gazed into the fire, something remarkable sparked in Mary's heart. What if this is just the beginning? She ventured. What if each challenge that lies ahead is merely an opportunity to deepen our bond? A murmuring of agreement rippled around the circle. Each face reflected understanding, acceptance, and anticipation. Then, in a flash, a shooting star raced across the sky, igniting the night with brilliance. The villagers gasped in awe, their eyes drawn to the heavens. "Look!" Ruth exclaimed, her voice laced with wonder. A sign. It was a moment of pure spirituality. Would this mark the beginning of miraculous revelations? With vulnerability and resolve, Mary knew they would stand together against any storm, united in their quest for truth and strength. What awaited them in the coming days? Would their bond withstand the trials the universe was planning to unfold? As the stars winked back at them, a promise lingered in the air, and Mary's heart tumbled with expectancy. What divine surprises were waiting in the shadows? The air was still, reverberating with the echoes of whispered dreams. Sparks from the fire twinkled into the night, much like the stars above them. Each flicker held secrets, stories waiting to be unraveled. Mary felt a new shift within her, as if the world around was brimming with potential. As the group turned their eyes back to the heavens, Samuel broke the silence. That star, it felt like a testament to our prayers. Do you think it means we're on the right path? Yes. Ruth chimed in, her excitement palpable. It's like the universe is giving us a nudge. More than ever, we must believe that we are guided. A murmur of agreement resonated among them, a quiet harmony woven through their hearts. Each face lit with a blend of hope and wonder. Mary looked around the circle. Each person carried a light, a gift that was waiting to shine brighter. Let us remember, Mary said softly, that our fears may try to dim our light, but we have the power to shine through them. Her voice held a soothing cadence, urging them to embrace the challenges they faced. Thomas, still burdened, reflected, "The weight of uncertainty clings to me. But as you speak, I feel something inside me shifting. Is it truly possible to feel hope again?" Samuel smiled at Thomas, his eyes twinkling in the firelight. "Hope is a choice we make, my friend. Sometimes it's the smallest flicker that can ignite a great flame within us. Like a match in a dark room," Mary encouraged. "When we trust the light, we find clarity even in the shadows." A profound revelation washed over the group. In their hearts, they understood the journey of faith was not about avoiding darkness, but learning to navigate through it together. As if on cue, a gentle breeze swept through the gathering, rustling the leaves above. It was a caress from the spirit, a reminder of their connection to something far greater than themselves. Mary inhaled deeply, tasting the sweetness of possibility. "Listen, can you hear it?" Sarah asked, tilting her head. They paused, letting the night wrap around them. It was then they noticed the distant sound of a waterfall, its gentle roar and echo of revival, a soothing reminder that all things flowed with purpose. "It's beautiful," Ruth whispered, her eyes glimmering with insight. "It reminds us that life moves, constantly shifting like water. We must embrace each bend and turn, trusting that we are being molded into something beautiful." Notes of agreement fluttered through the circle once more. Hope flourished in that sacred space, and their interconnectedness shone like starlight in the darkness. As the hours passed, stories shared began to weave a deeper understanding among them. Each revelation stood as a brick on the foundation of trust they were building. With every word spoken, fears crumbled like dried leaves, and faith emerged as vibrant and fresh as spring. From this day forward, Mary declared, a spark in her eyes, "Let us create a vision board, a tapestry of our dreams and intentions, evidence of how we want to transform our fear into hope." The fire crackled in response, sending a shower of sparks into the open night. It felt as though the universe stirred in agreement, breathing life into their intent. Just as they began to make plans, a distant rumble of thunder caught their attention, unexpected and powerful. It disrupted their gathering, bringing with it an air of suspense. What did this herald? Is it a storm brewing? Thomas wondered, apprehension flickering through him once again. Samuel's expression turned serious, yet there was an undercurrent of excitement. Perhaps it is a sign that change is here, change that will require us to gather our faith and our courage. The group grew silent, pondering the reverberations around them. The air tensed with unspoken emotions, questions swirling like the leaves. Mary's heart raced with an odd mix of fear and anticipation. What lay ahead? Would they stand united against the tempest? The crack of thunder was a call to action, a reminder that even the fiercest storms can bring about growth. Are we ready for what has to come? Mary wondered aloud, hope mingling with trepidation. As the wind whispered through the trees, the stars shone down, twinkling with secrets yet to be revealed. Would lightning illuminate the path of their journey ahead? What awaited them in the heart of the storm? As the thunder rolled away, leaving a lingering sense of anticipation, the villagers felt the shift in the air. The storm was not just a tempest of nature. It was a reckoning, a divine invitation to rise together against the uncertainties that lay ahead. Mary looked at the flickering flames once more, the warmth reflecting the fire in her soul. We have faced many trials, and yet here we stand. I believe this storm prepares us for even greater miracles, she declared, her voice steady. Around her, the villagers nodded, embers of courage igniting in their hearts. The storm wouldn't just test them, it would refine them. Together, we will embrace whatever comes our way, Thomas added, his earlier fears melting away into firm resolve. As the first drops of rain began to fall softly, so too did a wave of release wash over them. Let those raindrops be a cleansing, a renewal, Mary said, reaching out her hands to embrace the oncoming storm. Let's stand tall. Let's navigate the winds as one. The air turned electric as laughter bubbled up amongst them, breaking through the tension. The sense of vulnerability gave way to empowerment, and they began to share their visions, a tapestry of hopes unfolding before them. I want to strengthen our ties with the wider community. Let us take our light beyond our village, Ruth exclaimed, her spirit fiery. Let's host a gathering where stories of hope can be shared. Yes, let us embrace those who seek solace. Another villager echoed, enthusiasm peppering their words. Let us create something beautiful together, a festival of light to honor the miracles we have seen. As droplets increased, they gathered themselves, hands clasped together, an unbreakable chain of resolve grounded in faith and love. Gazing upward, Mary prayed aloud, her heart uniting with theirs. We ask for strength, O divine Spirit. Guide our hands, guide our hearts. Help us to illuminate the path for others who wander in darkness. With every word, their unity grew like a wildflower thriving against the storm's might. The rain cascaded around them, not as a threat, but as a reminder of fertile ground, a chance for new life, new beginnings. In that moment, something shifted. A bolt of lightning split the sky, illuminating the earth in radiant white. The villagers gasped, eyes wide, tethered to each other in prayerful awe. Look, Thomas shouted, pointing into the brilliance. It's a sign. Mary felt the tremor of truth in those words. Yes, it's a reminder that even in darkness, we can find illumination. This storm is cleansing and renewing our spirits together. With renewed vigor, they shared their intentions. They would create healing spaces, story circles, and gatherings that brought joy to their neighbors. Night would not remain their only companion. Their flames of hope would pierce through the sorrow and ignite the spark of change among those who longed for unity. As the last of the rain fell, the air smelled earthy and fresh. The storm had passed, leaving a brilliant rainbow stretching across the horizon, a divine promise that they were on the right path. Mary stood before her villagers, their faces shining with determination. Together, we have faced the storm and emerged transformed. Remember, our light shines brightest in the darkest nights. We will not only weather the storms ahead, but we will thrive. The villagers erupted into cheers, their voices blending harmoniously, weaving together a new hymn. The magic of their connection sang through the air, resonating with hope and renewed purpose. They pledged to withstand whatever lay ahead, determined to shepherd each other through the trials that would come. With hearts ignited and spirits unwavering, they stepped out into the world together, ready to shine their light, bright no longer alone, but one body in faith. And so, the journey continued. As they walked into the dawn, filled with purpose and illumination, each heartbeat echoed the truth that they were not just villagers. They were a community of light, destined to thrive beyond the shadows. In that sacred moment, a new chapter unfolded before them, their faith awakened. United in love and purpose, eagerly awaiting the wondrous blessings of tomorrows yet to come. Now, faithful friends, we have arrived at the end of this miraculous journey. If you're moved by the power of this story, you need to subscribe to the channel immediately. This is the moment to show your support and to fill your feed with extraordinary faith stories that uplift the spirit. Don't forget to leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let this light of inspiration spread far and wide. Comment with your reactions and testimonies about the ending, and don't wait even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this manifestation. Together, we can shine brighter and reach hearts that long for renewal. Let us keep this divine conversation going.